of thinking. I'm recording now. I didn't do a lot of thinking about the practice I might choose today, but I always try to choose a practice in some way consistent with life and where we are in life and how life can be greeted and welcomed no matter the circumstance. And so we were going to look at facilities for my mom's partner yesterday. And this really isn't about me, by the way. This is about us all, isn't it? And the challenges or the pains or the realities of our life at the moment. And my mom had just the day before, for example, called me crying because she said, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this to Dan. That's the name of her partner. And I said, Mom, what do you feel like you're doing to Dan? And she said, I feel like I'm betraying him by looking at a facility. And I said, what's that about? And she said, well, I can't tell him because it'll kill him. That's a feeling, right? And a perception, a sense of betrayal of hers. And so I can't tell him. So I feel bad about that. And then if I tell him, it'll kill him because he will think I don't love him and I want to get rid of him. And what I tried to say, which is, yes, I know this is sad and I know this is scary. And I know this is not what you want, right? All of it true. But I think the rest is a story. Is right? Doesn't make it less painful. It doesn't make this less hard. But I think we have to be careful that this sense of betrayal, the feeling of betrayal is a feeling, but let's watch the story that I'm abandoning him. Now, this is in the context of our conditioning. My mother's grandmother almost lived to 107 and cared for her deaf son every day since his birth. He was then in his 80s. So that's a context, right? That's a conditioning. That experience itself, doesn't it, sets a pattern, doesn't it? And the pattern is we live forever, we take care of others forever, no matter what. And there it was laid in our family lineage right there. And then my mother's father, took care of his mother until she was 107 almost. And he ended up being almost 101 and taking care of his family. Conditioning. Then we say, this is life. This is how it's supposed to go. This is the way it is. Anything else is wrong, bad, broken, right? This is how we cultivate these believed thoughts. From the Eastern wisdom traditions, they say that we have to be watchful of these habits of mind, these habits that say it should be like that, it shouldn't be like this, you should do it this way, you shouldn't do it that way. If it goes like this, it makes you bad or it makes the other bad, right? Do you get the idea? This is what Pema will call often in the book we're going to be reading starting in September, The Places That Scare You. She's going to call this the storyline. The storyline. It comes not only from family then, right? It comes from life. I got to play outside as I was growing up till it was 10 or 11 at night. No one called us in. No one checked on us. No one asked where we were. No one asked where we'd been. Well, I have a little conditioning that says parents kind of stay out of the way except to make sure you're fed. And then even then, you don't always know. They might forget, right? So a little conditioning, a little context, a little, right? This works for me, this, right? And so interestingly, right, I have certain characteristics, certain qualities that sometime might turn towards, or let's even say default into those patterns, which is, you're going to be all right. I grew up that way. Well, you're going to be okay. Because, right? Nobody steps in necessarily. You just figure it out, or you die. I don't know, one of those, but right? Nobody really, there's like, you're good, you're good. And so I know a habit that may lend towards you're going to be all right, even if I don't act, or even if others don't act. And of course, what do we know? That's not always true at all, is it? Like sometimes if you don't reach for that other, they're going down, right? That's a truth. It happens. It doesn't happen in every circumstance either. And so somebody else's conditioning might actually say, I've got to grab you every time. And that can be a whole other kind of default, a whole other kind of mistake, a whole other kind of reactivity versus response. Do you get the difference? Does everybody, the people on, do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so we all have this habit natured mind. You can't get out of that. So don't believe it. If you're thinking, I don't have that, that's 100% not correct. If you recognize it, however, now you're not limited by it. And isn't that incredible? Just the recognition of that conditioning. I might default here versus here. I might step in where I don't need. I might overstep when I, right? And knowing that then gives all of us what? The boundless capacity. It's boundless now because it is only responsive. It is only what is needed. It is only what can be of benefit. Isn't that beautiful? Just by going, oh, I know my little habit is to just step out and go, it'll work out, or it won't. I won't see you again. I don't know. And right. And now we're responding. And so the practices, all of these practices, and the one we're going to do now is really designed for that waking up, present moment, seeing what's actually here, and then paying attention with care, with kindness, with responsiveness, and then acting, right? Taking an action. Compassion, as we understand it, and it'll be the last thing I say this morning before the practice, compassion is always an actionable response. Actionable response. It is not a feeling that you go, well, I'm feeling bad for the other, but I'll stay back here, feel bad for him over there. Doesn't work. That's not compassion at all. We practice compassionate action here in the Sangha, taking action with our care, with our recognition of the truth of suffering. That's how we ended up getting all the food items that we got for the food drive tomorrow at St. Andrews. If you have not contributed at this point, you can send me or EMC money today, because I spent over $200 extra from the money that we had collected, because we could buy some prepackaged boxes of things, and I wanted to make sure the pantry was well stocked as we head into the holidays, right? So if you've gone, I haven't done anything about this, I do recognize the truth of insufficient food, insufficient security, insufficient comfort. And yes, I want to make a contribution. That's compassion. And just know that you can send me money through Venmo at Dial Titan. You can send it to EMC at their giving page, encinitasmindfulness.org/EMC-giving. I think if Carrie could get that up, that would be helpful. And then I would, anything that comes in today, you don't even need to note it. Just know that it's going to be going towards that $200 of food items, peanut butters, tuna cans, chicken, chilies, tomato sauce, tomato diced tomatoes, those kinds of healthy things are the things we try to help stack the pantry with. So we're not stuck with spaghettis and rice as the only options. Okay, so do we understand what I'm saying? I'm looking, the people I'm looking at, I see the nods. Yeah, I see the nod. And we are all each other's keepers, aren't we? I am my mother's, my mother is mine. I am my sister's is mine, right? We are each other's keeper. And if you are not acting in that manner, you are in story, you are in fear, you are in limitation, you are limited from your true nature, who you really are, which is only that. We are only that, right? So people have said to me, boy, this must be hard for you. Must be hard for you. It's not hard for me. It's hard for my mother, and I feel her pain. It is not hard for me. I have the privilege of participating in her well-being and in her partners. Hard? What's hard? Her well-being and her partners. What's hard about it? Well, it's frustrating sometimes because I have to tell her a thing 55 times and sometimes she still can't hear me, but that's my story. My story is I should just have to tell you once and then you get it. Is that a truth? No, I've said the same thing to you guys for 15 years. Haven't I? So I should be willing to surrender the frustration around repeating myself. I'm joking, of course. We're all saying the same thing, maybe.
You're on fire this morning, Di. I can't show my hair, but it is
Yeah,
up and lit
fuzzball.
up.
Well, yeah, we're all working with fuzzball here. We're all saying the same thing though, aren't we really? What are we saying? I'm here. I love you. I care. I'm not going to leave. I'm going to be here as best I can. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to fix it for you. That's a whole different storyline. But I will be here. My presence is the point, and it does matter. And so with that, let's prepare to sit. I've got some sandals on today, and I'm just checking in on them as I'm looking at all you lovely folks. Thank you, Sentinels. All those who choose to stay on, you're not obligated to do so, but it's helpful in the meditation when others can just open their eyes and see that there are people here. You're here. Remember what we said, what matters? You're here, you're present, you're participating, you're attending, you're not smoking, you're not taking a nap, you're not eating breakfast, you're right here. And it matters to us. That felt sense is everything. Even this is a compassionate action, isn't it? Right here, just to show I'm going to be on screen. I'm going to sit here with everyone on screen. I'm going to commit myself, don't you? Isn't it true? I'm committing myself to something when I choose to be on screen. Otherwise, how easy would it be to turn it off and lay down? Or turn it off and go away?
I just posted both the Venmo site and the Giving site on chat.
Lovely. Carrie, thank you so much for that. We need them both. And I forgot that EMC has Venmo, so you can do that. That's terrific. That's spectacular. Thank you so much. We need those up regularly because when we're together, we remember to act, not just to have a great thought about it. Wonderful, thank you. So feeling into the body, let's turn ourselves towards the body. And we have to be watchful of our habit to start meditating. You already were, you already are. That is actually presence. Anytime we are wholly present, we are really, that's the definition of meditation. So if you were listening to me intently, you were already meditating. If you were taking it in, you were meditating. If you were allowing the words and their meaning to enter into you, not just the head, but the whole body being, you're meditating. And so now the only thing we do is lower the eyes. We set the head with a little bit, the crown of the head, a little bit upward. So watch the tendency to draw back and nose up. We're actually straightening the spine just a little so that the crown of the head rests upward, the chin pointing slightly towards the chest, towards our own awakened hearts. And let's just rest there for a few breaths. This is complete meditation. Trungpa, Pema's teacher, used to call this non-meditation meditation. And that was a very strong practice of his, which he meant I can be doing this every day, all day, as a way of staying present, awakened, and most whole and open-hearted. So that's the next part. We've got the mind here, we've got the body present, we've stilled the body just slightly. We've lowered the eyes because we don't need to be attending to a thing, which the eyes can only, they're limited. So we're not using those specifically. We don't have to close them, by the way. And in fact, in the Tibetan traditions, they did not close the eyes, they just lowered them and placed them on the space directly in front of them, just so you know there's another option here for this non-meditation meditation. And the field of awareness is large. It is not just the space in front of us. It is not just sounds or thoughts, or you're opening slowly in a time that can work for you, fairly different than shamatha or calm abiding practice. You're breathing into and out from the whole of space, if you could imagine it that way. And then we set the heart in the infinite directions, the infinite directions. So it can be directed. The infinite directions are, we first ignite the heart of bodhicitta. That means awakened heart mind. It's both. And we do so by recollecting the good. We recollect the love, the care, the support, the kindness, the generosity, the patience, the wisdom, and the compassion that is actually soaking into and out of us right now. It's everywhere. How do I know? You're here with the infinite supports required for this precious human life. You're here. The sun is contributing, the water's contributing, the friends, the husband who just brought in a coffee, little man who makes me smile, that's our dog, right? Contributing to my goodness, my ease, my happiness, my well-being. All of you here today. The internet, the fact that it worked. This humidity, moistening the plants, the animals, offering sustenance. We're breathing that. And so if you're sitting here going, well, I can feel the space, but I can't figure out how this is meditating, it's in the placement of mind then towards all that is a benefit, all that is good, both inner, outer, and both. And so we're just going to breathe it in. With each in-breath then, see if you can ignite the heart of bodhicitta, making contact with a sight, a sound, a voice, a breath, and breathing in the good. Really let it touch into your own heart, and then let it marinate, translate, integrate, maybe even vacate, right? We can get the dukkha out of there. Let it replace it. And on the out breath, then, we breathe out that goodness. This is the beginning of our Tonglen practice. We breathe out love. We breathe out connection. We breathe out ease or calm. We breathe out kindness, generosity. And so with that general instruction, we're going to do it this way. We're going to begin by breathing in the good that is here right now, whatever you can make contact with. I'm hearing birds. I'm looking at Libby. I'm hearing my husband do work in the garage. A little man is here. Whatever the good I can perceive, I'm breathing that in. And just for maybe a few breaths, making contact with its goodness. And you keep breathing it in for yourself. Several breaths. The sound of the train. The cool morning moisture in the air. Fuzzy hair. Love. The people in the house, the people in the room, the people in the world. This is not a special breath. This is soaking in the good. Take as big a breath as you need. And let it to be distributed then through the whole of the body. And so we widen the lens on the out breath, just right here for oneself. We breathe it in, letting it touch the heart space, igniting the heart of bodhicitta. And then we offer it in an out breath to oneself. We send it to the top of the head and the hair and the ears and the eyes, the nose and mouth, the arms, the body, the front and the back and the hips and the legs, all the way down to the space between the toes and the toes. Feel how it awakens the body as we bring that kind and loving attention there. Wherever the attention goes, so too there goes love. Right now, offering it to our own bodies. Soften the body with the out breath to be fully receiving. You are deserving of this love and attention that was written in the suttas. There is no one. Isn't that amazing? No one more deserving of this kindness, of this love, of this attention, of this care than you are yourself. And so we breathe it in fully. We soak it in completely. And we receive. All that goodness. And now you're marinating both on the in breath and the out breath in loving presence. In the vast, boundless, radiant, open heart mind. Let the moisture in the air become the moisture of love. Let it surround you. Let it be breathed in. And then breathed around you. If we can offer this nutriment, this good medicine, this reality, this Dharma, to ourselves each morning, I promise the day is better. We're not done. We're going to keep marinating because we don't do this enough. We are short shrifting ourselves every single day. Even when we think we're placing a right attention on the breath, we forget the heart. We forget the loving commitment. That we are refuge, and we can begin by being refuge to ourselves. These few breaths. This one breath. And if you're on the screen and you feel like a little, like, I'm not getting this, this is a little disconnecting for me, you can open your eyes and look at the screen and see all those people, those on and off, who are sitting here, breathing for and with you. Like nothing else. They're not busy making breakfast. They're breathing in and out love. And this is just a few of the infinite millions of people. By the way, millions of people doing the same in this day. Breathing in and out love for you. Meditators, prayers, blessings, compassionate action happening all over the world. And we have to fill the tank just like this every day. Just like this every day. We have to still and quiet the body. We have to soften it. We have to soothe it, and we have to release. That has to happen. We have to direct the clear, unobstructed mind. Cannot be thinking about how to cook the whatever tonight, right now. It has to be directed towards the reality of this goodness, the reality of your goodness, the reality of the infinite goodness with each breath in the whole of the world. We have to place the mind in that boundless heart. Mine and yours, and all those on the screen, and then all those in the whole world. All your friends, all your loved ones, all your neighbors. Breathe it in, and you get to breathe it in big. Breathe in whatever is needed. Because whatever you breathe in, here's what we know, it's to that extent that you're going to be able to breathe it out when it's time. Relaxing the body on the out breath so that we can allow that beautiful, radiant, boundless heart's light to move through the whole body. all the way from the top of your fuzzy haired head, all the way down to that bruised left toe. Filling up the tank. Resting in goodness. And then we're going to begin to expand, make bigger, and share this loving presence. So we begin in our attention, we begin to expand the attention beyond the body, beyond the self, to include others. And you can call those others to mind. You can use that which is in the room, in the space. There's no one right way to do it. Anything you call to mind is real and present. I'm calling to mind, for example, my brother Mike. My brother died, his anniversary of his death is tomorrow. And he just came to mind, and I'm so grateful for that, because I have deep, abiding, permanent, unconditional love for him. And so he came to mind first as someone who has offered me love and care. Might be a grandmother, a friend, a dog, that tree. And then we call it to mind and we breathe it in. And then we send it out. And that out could be back to that loved one, for example, back to that tree, that loving object, or it could be to another in need, depending on what the exchange. I'm just going to exchange right now with my brother. I'm going to soak in that good. Remembering his love and remembering the love I feel for him. Breathing it in and out. Maybe a person living is no requirement. It may be a person far away. It may be those loving objects in their aliveness, a tree, a pet, a rose bush. And see if you can stay engaged in some way in the heart space. I'm just breathing directly into the heart space and then breathing out from it. And when I breathe out, I always imagine that radiant, glowing, warm light moving out and touching the love object. And if this feels a little too thinky for you, that means you're moving out of the body, out of that felt sense, and then climb right back in there. Find that loving presence and breath that breathes it. And then let what comes come. But my preference would be that we touch first a loving object or person in the exchange. And if what you can make contact with is the breath, oh, that's beautiful. Breathing in love, breathing out love. We're not trying to make something happen. We're trying to let it be. It's already here. That infinite love, that unconditional love is already here. We don't have to make it. We're just trying to make contact with its reality. It's already here. This love already is. And we're both receiving it as well as offering it. We're now in the exchange. We're expanding that heart to include and we grow both the mind to include because it goes where the focus is. So we're focusing on this. The love that is. And is not gone by virtue of physical form change. If someone's not present, if they've died, doesn't mean the love isn't here. Maybe in its way, it's more here, not obstructed by fear, confusion, doubt. Just like that humidity, let it bathe the whole of the body, the mind, essential moisture. And then we're going to expand the heart more by the attention. Remember, the attention determines the focus. We're going to expand now beyond that loved one to include someone in need. There's plenty of room. Call their name, invite them in, picture them, feel them. Breathing in all that goodness, and then we send it out to them. We can use the traditional phrases. May you be well. May you have ease. May you have peace and be happy. May you be safe and free from distress. May you know you are loved, that you've been called on, that you've been recollected, that you're being held, that heart. And we let the mind rest on the object of this other in need. And feel our own hearts, our wish for their happiness, their well-being, their freedom from distress. And then we just send it out. For some people, recollecting the phrases requires thinking. And what works better, and I know this happens for my son, for example, he sees in pictures, he thinks in pictures. And so what works better for him is to picture giving you one of his favorite foods. So Tanner's probably going to send you a pizza. And how wonderful and beautiful is that? What are you sending? Are you surrounding the other in that loving presence and light? Are you offering a treatment, a solution, a resource? Are you offering yourself, one of the greatest resources you have? Let's do that. We just offer ourselves completely. And there's actually a meditation, by the way, we'll do it in the Tibetan tradition, that you turn yourself into nectar. You turn your own body, mind, and heart into nectar, and you feed it to the other. You give yourself that completely. Isn't that beautiful? This requires that you remember your own goodness. And that is also good. Someone we love, someone with whom we've had a recent challenge. We don't call that difficult other. That's not true. They're difficult for you. We call them to mind. Invite them into our own hearts. And that very wish for their well-being, for their ease, for their happiness, expands your own heart. Makes more room. And then we shower them, we embrace them, we gift them our loving presence. We remember their true Buddha nature. And we smile. at their goodness and at ours, as we remember. And we may have to draw on the love, the goodness from all those things around us, because sometimes we can't see the love in the challenging other. It's not true that it's not there. It is true that you can't see it. And we send out all that we can. May you be happy. May you have ease. May you be free from pain and suffering. May you have peace and ease of being. And if it feels like your own tank is is emptying, you can always come back to the beginning and just rest in goodness, soak it in, and breathe it in for yourself. It's like giving to your oxygen tank. We have to remember our own enoughness, our own goodness, our own unconditional, infinite love. And when we forget, we'll feel depleted. We just come back to ourselves. And that was little man perfectly letting a little cry, saying, "Don't forget me." May you be happy. May you be free from all distress. Ease and well-being. May you remember that you are loved. Whatever the conditions of the present moment, and you know you are. And then for the last few moments, you can open that infinite, unconditioned heart mind and let it go to all things and all beings. That would be one option, just radiating that good heart, that awakened bodhicitta in all directions. You could send it to others individually as they come to mind. You could send it to whatever arises in the mind's eye. That bird, this dog. Family, friends, those we don't even know. Breathing in the truth of love, ours and others, and sending it out, or just distributing it right through you. It'll leak out every pore. May we all be happy. May we all be free from pain, harm, fear, and suffering.
It's 8 o'clock.
May we all have ease and well-being. May we all remember our goodness and the goodness of all beings, manifest or not, seen or not, known or not. And may we live in alignment, in accord with that love, with that goodness. Breathing it in and breathing it out. The most radiant mind is a clear mind. The present moment mind. The most radiant heart is a loving heart, unobstructed by fear, unobstructed by greed, aggression, ignorance. Let it shine. And let the body, mind, mouth live it into reality with everything we think, everything we speak, and everything we do. Express that radiance. And then we're going to call that radiant light back to oneself for just the end of our practice. Remembering that if we do not offer this to ourselves, we cannot offer it to others. May I be happy. May I be free of all afflictions, all fears, all pains, all suffering. May I recollect my blessings and breathe them in each day, remembering the good within and all around. May I breathe in love. May I breathe out love on purpose every day. And whether that's one breath or 5 breaths or 50, may I smile. Remembering that goodness. And may this practice this morning and then all practices throughout all time, may their goodness be brought right here, breathed into the present moment. Healing all things and all beings. So be it. I'm not going to strike the bell this morning because I have little man in my hands here. And you never let ritual be greater than the present moment. But you always let it support you. Right to the present moment. I'm just going to hang on to him. And I'm going to stretch my neck a little bit. Feel into your body, see what might invite some release. So I'm going to pull my screen a little closer here. I don't think we have anything in chat. I'm just checking in then. We are starting to make a shift, if you've noticed, in the practices, because we're now going to be heading back from the Vipassana calm abiding shamatha practice, which is in that more in that tradition as a regular practice. We've been stabilizing the mind for a while, and now we're going to be moving into the more Mahayana, the great vehicle, where we will use more visualizations, imagery, and the open abiding, compassionate whole heart as its most beautiful expression. As its most beautiful expression. And that will be what we'll be doing from now through the book. The Places That Scare You. Have still not received the books. I'm getting a little worried about that. They should have been here by now, even on ground. So I'm going to have to check in with them and see what's going on. Hopefully I'll be able to order or reorder some of those used books. They were about $5, and I'll keep everyone posted. Today I finally felt officially concerned. Hopefully they're on their way. That would be good. So just checking in on how is it moving from really specifically breath awareness practice to these practices. Where were the openings, the availability, and where was that sense of limitation or challenge, or wow, this is way different? I can't wait to hear. Come on anytime or chat. Let's see how it's going.
This is Kelly. I'll say that for me, it was a little difficult when we started thinking about a specific person, because then my thinking mind would start going into, history and relationship and thoughts about that person.
Yes.
So, so that presented a little bit of difficulty.
Yes, that's a very common thing. It's so challenging to let another being come to mind without the storyline. It's really true. We rarely see the being in the being, don't we? We rarely. It comes in context, doesn't it? Thoughts about, feelings about, histories, events, as some reality, I'm going to say, oops, as some reality about the person. And it doesn't mean they can't come to mind, Kelly. There's really no problem with that coming to mind. We just want to keep it in understanding about what that really is, which is my thinking, not the person. My experience, it's all fine, not the truth of that person's goodness or badness, or and actually I usually don't go hunting for a person. I just rest in the breath awareness, breathing in and out love until someone comes to mind. Now, my brother, for example, simply came to mind. The instructions say call to mind someone. That's really more for experience. Like, what's it like holding someone we love? What's it like for you holding someone that we have difficulty with? My own preference, because of what you're saying, I noticed this as well, is to let what comes to mind come to mind. In the formal practice, however, we want you to have an experience. And so, yes, along comes the storyline and thoughts about, and I'm going to say, I don't think that's a problem, except that we recognize it just like you did. To go, oh, whoops, here I go. I've got now 50 other thoughts about why they shouldn't have done that. Or, well, there I go, thinking about how really stupid they are. And I can't really, can I do this? Because they're really dopey. My brother, Sean, Libby and I share a brother. Sean, he came to mind because I thought, you know what? I know this is true. There's Buddha nature in him. That's hard for me. He came to mind. But I also recognize my own limitation. I don't think this is Sean's problem. This is mine. Now, is it true that he has been vastly unskillful in the conducting of his life. There's no debate. He has been. Is it true that there is Buddha nature? Absolutely. Goodness, love in him. And there is no doubt. It is only my limitation. And I own it, right? Is there a storyline about him? Oh boy, we could talk for days. But is that storyline the truth? No. Are those events real? They are. They are, aren't they? So this is all of our work, is to really see if we can recognize, not get rid of, right? We don't have to get rid of the storyline. That's not that helpful because it's already there, but it would be helpful to recognize it and go, wow, there's me spinning the, I don't know, there might be a couple people, maybe a few, who really just don't have any goodness in them. That's our limitation and has to be understood as such. And then when I remember that, I come back to myself. When I remember that I cannot see the goodness, that I cannot see the abundance, I cannot see the infinite in a person, in a moment, I come back to offer myself that oxygen because I know that I'm the one obstructed in that moment. And then I offer myself the best love, compassion, and care that I can. My son came to mind, but I did not know anything. Did not know what to do with it, Dennis, or did not know anything about him. Anything about him. Yeah, we don't, the facts are not, those facts are just conditions. They're not really where he is, what he's doing. This is actually not who we are either. I think this is all the stuff we're working. These are all the beautiful recognitions of our limitations that we can see. I don't, if he's here, if he's there, I don't know. If he's doing something or not doing something, we don't know those things often. Even when we think we know, I'll tell you something, I don't think it's necessarily true or accurate. I don't know what we need to know to hold another in compassion, other than that they are human and that we know the truth is that all humans know suffering. And there is the possibility for the end of suffering right now, and awakening right now, and love being exchanged right now. Whether that person is open, receptive, available or not, I don't even ever worry about that. I know that where there is love, ultimately, there can be healing. Okay, so maybe I'm putting it in the bank for now. Maybe they can't breathe it in either right now. But the fact that I can send it, that I can call them to mind with wishes for their well-being matters, always matters. And we don't give it enough, do we? We don't give it enough. It's like, yeah, but really they're still, but I know it isn't true. I know it isn't true. Little man jumped up in my lap, a little agitated. I immediately just started to breathe in and out for him. And I wish you could see him right now. In fact, I'm going to tip this so you can see this little monster over here. Can you? Let's see.
Yeah,
Can you see him over here?
there he
Everybody,
is.
can you see him?
There he is.
There he is. What's he doing? He's resting. What's he resting in?
He's just a cutie.
Yeah, he's resting. Well, he's a monster just a minute ago. He's resting in love. He's resting in. He felt that ease. He felt that, okay, we're here, fully present. I'm just going to breathe in and out for you. Right? It doesn't mean that it always goes like this either, does it? See, this is, we have to watch the mind that goes, and then it'll get better. And then he'll call me, Dennis, and then that person will, yeah, that's just us, little greedy minds in us wanting something. And we have to be a little watchful. But the sending, the exchange is the point, and it matters. And I have something from Shivam, and I see Shivam, you there? Let me read this for you, and then we'll talk. Thank you for mentioning turning on the video. Yeah, it is a contribution, isn't it? We hide back there a little bit, and sometimes being on isn't right for all kinds of reasons. There's no problem there. It's just not always right. But if we have really an offer, this is an offer. We're making an offer when we show up, right? First, your name's an offer. The fact that you're even there in the Zoom is an offer. The fact that you're even calling us to mind if you can't be on Zoom, by the way, is an offer. And then being physically available to go, I am here, seeing, being with you is a gigantic offer. So just know that we are trying to be kind and not take up space. And who am I anyway to be on the screen? And I don't want to distract. And there's all crazy limited thinking. It's just not true. I love seeing all of you. And if for some reason there's that old myth, by the way, the old myth is you're taking up bandwidth. You're taking up bandwidth. Who are you? Get off that screen. You're eating up the bytes. Well, eat them up, please. Better to see you than not see you when it's right and when you can make that as an offer, not as a demand. It's not a demand. So good. I'm glad that you felt that. A huge contribution for creating space, no doubt. I had to move to a different part. Yep, we do. We make adjustments in the offers. Could hardly hear you. That's right. My voice does drop. Shivam, I don't think that was just you, by the way. Yeah, we all have problems. Don't we seeing the goodness in the one with whom we have a difficulty? Because that lens is obstructed. It's cracked. It's cracked. And so can we see who that person really is? No, we can't. And I just think it's lovely to know. That's not because the other is a difficult other. This is the mistake we make even in the teaching. Don't we say, call to mind a difficult other? Whoops. Really, that would be you. You'd be calling you to mind, going, yeah, I can't see it. I'm limited today. I only have that much. That would be the difficult other you'd actually call to mind. And wouldn't breathing for yourself be good news? Yes, it would. Can I see the goodness in the other? No. Why? Well, because what I want, need, hope for in the exchange is not happening my way. It's not available in my way. And so then I don't like the other. And by the way, as I called to mind my half brother, the truth is he is dramatically at moments unskillful. He's done some pretty nasty stuff. He is not a radiant heart of goodness that I can easily see, but it doesn't mean it isn't there. Does he love? Yes, he does. Does he want love? Yes, he does. Is he deserving of love? And the answer is always. Love is not something we parse based on our perception of your goodness. In fact, maybe otherwise, isn't it? It isn't doled out because I like you, today you get a lot. And then like when you said that, today you don't get so much at all. But we do that with love, don't we? Yeah. And this practice is really about breaking those bad habits. And it begins with ourself because we do it mostly, not to the other. Sean is not the problem. Who is? Me, because I go, well, you didn't really do it that way. All right. Remove a little kindness, care, love, attention. You didn't, well, and that's very unconscious often. We don't catch the way we're doing ourselves. But by the way, if you're holding another with that limitation, you have already done it to yourself. Is it not true? You have already done it to yourself. And so when I see my half brother, right, he's my brother, when I see him and go, oh, yeah, but, you almost did kill somebody. That's a little limiting. I have already done it to myself. And then you just get to come home and breathe for the you that is unskillful, for the you that was deficient in that moment, for the you that couldn't access your own heart. That's all, right? We don't even have to worry about the difficult other anymore. It's us. Other thoughts? I have a college roommate, by the way. You may be hearing dings. I don't know if you guys can hear them, but my college roommate has just decided to have a gigantic monologue with me here, and I don't know how to turn that off. So she's just ding, 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 ding. And I'm sending her love because we have a 45-something year relationship, and she is in Terre Haute, Indiana. Must be having a pretty hot day over there, I'm guessing. I'm hearing all about it on that ding. So we'll send her some cool, refreshing breeze. Other thoughts about the practice, its challenges, it's different. There is more directed mind in it. Like Kelly was saying, we're not just resting and abiding the breath, we're calling aspects to mind, but I think we can be watchful of how much on it we do and just create space to see what happens.
Di, you were talking about we're going to move more into visualization. And I was doing a little bit of that in here and did it with the quote difficult person, or the me having difficulty with a person. And it was interesting, even moving to visualization softened me. I mean, I literally saw this person more as a whole person. And what came to mind after that were other aspects, other things I've seen this person do that aren't the difficult part.
Yes.
So it was just interesting again, and it wasn't until I sort of saw in my mind's eye
Yes.
that I came to that.
Yeah, we might
Because
call
otherwise,
it
it's
the
a
hard side.
concept. She just
The hard
became like
side.
a concept. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're just a person with statistics, right? They're a person with statistics. You're this, 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 and this. Really, and I'll just stay in my example. You guys utilize yours. For my brother, you're a murderer. You're a prison guy. You're a thief. You're a right. Look at all the concepts. Statistics, I call those. Those are concepts that we load onto another as if we know them. And the truth is we do, but we've forgotten that we know what we know about this human life. And we go into data points, you this, you that, you the other, you did, you didn't, you. And it doesn't mean those things, remember, are not accurate or true, but they are not the whole. They are merely the conditions. So if folks, you want to view yourself or me by your conditioning, we're all going to get in a lot of trouble pretty quick, because that's always limited, isn't it? Always, by its nature, it's limited. And so now we can say limited like this and limited like that, and now limited in this way and limited in that way. We could spend all day talking about the limitations, and we would have missed the being. That's my point. We would have missed them completely. Don't mistake it. Don't do it to you, and don't do it to others. You will have missed the radiance in the being, all of us. So when I only think little man's a barker, right? When I go there, just a barky little guy, then I don't see what's all there. I don't see what's most true. And is he barking? He is. Except how I respond to the barking then is completely also different. Isn't that amazing? When I see in the wholeness, I respond completely different. And that's what Lisa's saying. I remembered, I saw the whole being, and in the wholeness, there is only love. That's right. Yes, Leslie? Good
Hey,
morning.
hi, Diana.
Hi.
I just had a thought based on what you just were saying. It seems like for someone like me, who somehow made a pact with myself not to be judgmental, that actually, if I allow myself to experience the judgment, especially if I say it out loud to myself, then it's easier to immediately feel the person, really, because
right.
because the part of me that doesn't, that has held myself back from viewing it is a little bit of spiritual bypass, I think, now that I'm looking at that. And so if I actually experience just the thought in me, this experience hatred, I don't even think that I ever have hatred towards anybody. So if I could allow myself to experience a moment of hatred,
Yeah. Live it.
then
Yeah, that's right.
I'm living it, and then it's all of a sudden I feel immediately I say, oh, I'm sorry to the person, I missed you, how did I do that? And but I needed to allow myself to have that experience first.
That's right. That's right. We can hold ourselves and each other in our conditioned selves. We have to recognize them. This is a part of knowing suffering and its path, but it also then frees us. That's the whole, like, oh, there I am deciding that my brother, there's not one good thing about him. It's not true. It's not true.
Just by your saying that, myself as sort of an innocent bystander, I immediately have compassion for your brother.
That's
I
right.
immediately experience, that's what happened when you said it originally. I felt, oh, wow, that guy must have been in a lot of pain to have only that option in that moment of whatever that is,
That's right. That's right. Exactly right. And I forget the pain. I just see the unskillfulness.
Right. But by your saying it out loud, for me, I'm doing that almost for you, for him, for sure.
Yes. For us.
So it's
Yeah.
it's important. It's important that you claim it.
That's right. Right? This is, there's no getting around. But the truth is, I am not the limitation either. I'm not the limited belief thought about him either. I am in fear. If I get close to this, I could get hurt.
Right.
I could be disappointed. I could be harmed. I could be stolen from. I could be killed. That's my fear. Is it real?
Yes.
No. But the fear is the fear, and the fear obstructs.
Yeah.
Always. And that we know this is good. So every moment of judgment, what is it? Fear. Every moment
Right.
of shutdown, what is it? Fear from the pain. I'm afraid to open to him, really, because then what? I'm going to hurt because he's hurting. I'm going to hurt because he's hurting. And compassion, right, means this: I will hurt too. I will. I don't really want to. It would break my heart too. It would pain me too to get close to him, because then I'd have to see his pain. And we don't want to, do we? It's like, is there enough time in the day for that? It's a busy day. And yes, there is not only time in the day, we have to. And no, it isn't easy. And that's why we practice.
Thank you so much, Diana, for being so authentic in those last few moments, especially.
Well, you're welcome. It's all, there it is, right? There's our shared reality. This is not my heart mind, it's all of us. I have to go because I have a phone call that the attorney could only establish now. So I'm going to need to sign off to get to that. Thank you all for both your being here, your presence, your breath, both the beautiful, loving in-breath and out-breath. And may we all be well and better today, right? Recognizing the whole of our beings and the whole of others. Blessings and love to all of you. Lisa, so good to see you on today. Adrian, so good to see your name. I know you're driving, so she can't join us on the Zoom, but I know you're here. I love you all. Look forward to seeing you on Saturday on Zoom. We're going to stay on Zoom for now. All right, everyone. Much love. Be well, everyone.
Have a great day.